All right. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining me. I have all three judges here today. We're going to discuss our public speaking workshop, American Idol. This happens Monday, November the 13th. And if you haven't heard about this event, you're in for a treat today. So the address is 987 Herman Street, and it's going to start at 5:30 and will end around 7:30. So let me tell you a little bit about what's going to happen on Monday. So the first half of our workshop will have all three judges, Markeith Braden, Aikyna Finch, and James Springer. They're going to present some helpful tips regarding public speaking. And then for the second half of the workshop, we're going to start our competition, and our winner will walk away with a cash prize. So I wanted to do something like this because I knew that public speaking to take my insurance business to the next level. And I know that there are some other entrepreneurs out there who feel the same way. So I'm going to come on and we're going to introduce all three judges. And I want each of you to tell us a little bit about yourselves and what products you have to offer to entrepreneurs. And we'll start with you, Markeith.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I am Markeith Braden, the CEO of Markeith Braden and Company, and just excited for this opportunity. I am really serious about helping emerging purpose-driven entrepreneurs to build powerful, purposeful, and profitable personal brands online in particular. And then also I do training and development through the form of leadership training as well as customer service training, really throughout the country here the last couple of years. And so I've just really enjoyed the power of public speaking and how it can enhance one's career, one's business, and one's profits.
Okay, Dr. Finch.
Greetings, I am Dr. Aikyna Finch. I do education, motivation, and social media. My company is Finch and Associates. I also have a secondary company, which is Change Your Minds Online. And what do I bring to you? I bring to you podcasting. I bring to you live streaming, social media coaching, as well as certified life coaching. So those are what I bring to the speakers for the event.
Awesome. James Springer.
Hi, everybody. It's good to be here. Basically, what I do is I'm a coach and consultant in the areas of communications, primarily in the sales industry, but I've been speaking for quite some time. One of the things that I noticed in my 30 years of sales is that a lot of times you have a delivered message that is not received in the way that it was intended to be received. And so I spent a lot of time trying to figure out why that was. And a lot of it is nonverbal communication skills that people have, where you're sending one message and speaking another. And it winds up that whatever people see is what they go with, not what they hear. So what I offer to my clients is the ability to make their nonverbal communication consistent with their verbal communication, so that they can more effectively get their message across more persuasively, more influentially, more charismatically, whatever it is that they're looking to achieve. Being able to make both of those messages consistent is critical. So that's what I do for people.
All right, guys. Thank you. So, guys, as you can see, we have a well-rounded team, and they all touch on something a little different when it comes to public speaking. So the agenda for today, I'm just going to ask a few questions, and you guys feel free to chime in and answer these, because I'm hoping that you guys can really get some value from their feedback. So let me ask you this, guys. When did you guys really know that public speaking is what you really wanted to do? When did the light bulb go off? So just share that.
Okay. Those who do not know me, I am 110% introvert. And so in 2008, I decided that I was going to try this newfangled thing called social media, and I was going to help soldiers find jobs. And in the process of it, I was posting different things and promoting them in different things. And I realized that the week was resonating with people. And I didn't even have to see them, or I didn't have to, have personal contact with them, but they were reading my stuff and they were posting reading my posts. And so they started resonating with me and they started following me. Well, when live streaming came about and I got on the screen for the first time and I started saying the things that I had been posting, people instantly gravitated to that. And so I said, okay, what does this tell me? Yes, I have something to say. Yes, people want to hear it. Yes, I can move people. And that was the moment that the light bulb clicked and said, okay, I need to get from behind the computer and get in front of the people, because I can touch more lives in front of the people than I can behind the computer. So that is when the light bulb clicked.
Awesome. Okay. Anybody else want to share their story?
I think for me, it happened probably when I was first starting out in sales, and I knew I needed to improve my presentation skills. And so I joined an organization called Toastmasters International. And I had spoken, some in church and things like that. So it wasn't a horrifying experience like it is for a lot of people when I first did that. But I spent several years in Toastmasters, moved up through the ranks there. And then also with becoming in sales management, business owner, I realized that, you're public speaking anytime you're speaking to one or more people. So you've got to keep those skills or gain those skills to be effective. So that's basically what my aha moment was in Toastmasters International.
All right. Well, Markeith, you've got to share your story now.
Well, I knew very early in my life that I was some type of performer, presenter, so on and so forth. But it was solidified for me when I was a freshman in college. A speaker came to do one of our convocations, and at HBCUs we have these convocation type assemblies where once or twice a year they bring in major speakers to speak to the students. And there was one particular lady who came in during one of our convocations, and her name was Patricia McLeod, and she was an attorney who had turned speaker author. And when she got finished from speaking and doing her presentation, I knew immediately that's what I wanted to do. I knew immediately that the same gift that she had was one that resonated with me sitting in the chair. And my mission from that point forward was, how do I figure out, or how do I do what it is that she did and get paid to do it? And that was my impetus when I really knew that I wanted to be a professional speaker, but not really just to speak. I really tell people all the time that I'm not the person that you want to coach you if all you want to do is speak. Because I don't just speak. I get paid to speak. I get paid for my knowledge. I get paid for what I bring to the table. I bring a level of value that requires some transaction to happen. And so that's what inspired me to speak, because I understood that if I could create an audience, if I could hone my gift, that I could eventually be a part of the most lucrative profession there is when it comes to financial benefit.
Okay. As I'm listening to you guys, I think about myself just a few years ago, graduating from MTSU with a marketing and a business entrepreneurship degree. And I thought about, I never was trained on public speaking, and I don't understand why that's not incorporated into the curriculum. So I know there's a lot of people out here who are, going to school, they've graduated, they're in a profession, they've just never really had that training. So I don't know. I'm just really glad that you guys are here to help people like me, because it's something that's really needed. But anyway, I'll continue on with another question. Tell me, guys, how do you get out of your comfort zone? Markeith, your video yesterday, you made a good point about using the Facebook Lives as a good way to practice. Do you guys use any other tools, good practice tools, just to start getting your feet wet?
I think if you're just getting started, the best way to challenge the fear or challenge the lack of the ability of public speaking is to volunteer yourself to do more presentations. It's no different than riding a bike. When I first started riding the bike, I wasn't that good. But the more I got on the bike, the better I became. Well, it's no different with public speaking. The more that you speak, the more that you study it, the more you experience opportunities for you to present, the better you become.
Right.
And so if you really want to get past the fear, if you really want to get past the discomfort or the nerves of speaking, you just got to put yourself in position where you're consistently presenting. And speaking is Facebook Live.
Yeah.
Speaking is doing a recorded video and then posting it and sharing it with other people. You're still speaking. You know, you never know who's on the other end of that video that that could potentially offer a new opportunity or just be blessed and inspired by your talk.
Okay. Aikyna, tell us about some of the social media tools that you use.
All right, perfect. So I use, of course, Periscope, and that was an eye-opener when people could actually talk back to you. You know, very few people do the dark scope, but most people come on and they do a live. If you are starting with Periscope, a lot of people suggest that you cover up the little man or do that however you like for them to be. And so that you don't see the numbers, you don't get intimidated by the numbers. Whether some people get intimidated because there's nobody there, and some people get intimidated because it's 50 people there. You know, so cover up the person. You can see the comments, and sometimes most people are so busy giving hearts they won't give you comments, so it won't throw you off track. Know where your block button is, because you know we will have some trolls here and there. So you know, block and move. Don't stop speaking, just block and move. And so then with Facebook Live, the comments stay longer. I mean, they don't go away. So you can actually critique what you're doing after the fact. That's a good thing with that. Whereas the comments usually go away, you have to watch the whole video with Periscope. This, you can just scroll down and see the comments and see where you were critiqued. YouTube Live. Same difference. YouTube, it turns into a YouTube video, but it doesn't keep the comments. So it feels just like a Periscope when you're doing it, and then it instantly turns into a YouTube video. So you get to keep the content. It's YouTube quality, and then you can share it out to your social media after the fact. And when you share it out when you're speaking, you can actually bring people into your YouTube that have been following you on Facebook and Twitter. They may not even know you have a YouTube channel. So that's a way for you to cross-pollinate, as we say. So those are some of the social media tools. But when Facebook Live, if you're sad, if you're scared, first off, start with an audio live. You don't have to show your face. You can put a nice little pretty picture up there, and you can talk to your heart's content. They still hear the message, but they may not see you. Then you can turn the video on and start seeing the people. Same difference. And then you build up from there. Then invite somebody in, you know, and do some interview style. That'll also help your interviewing skills as well as your public speaking skills. So those are some of the things that I suggest to my clients.
Awesome. So what I'm hearing is you are taking baby steps. James, do you have anything to add?
The primary thing that I've always done is I made sure that I had the ability, whether it was with the phone or with the actual camera, is that anytime I speak, I always record. I do two bands. I do audio and video separately, so I can put the two together and have a video. I can separate them out and have an audio, and then I do the editing on the video so I can keep a historical record of what I've done. And like Markeith said, if you want to get good, you have to be bad. And you have to be bad until you're not bad anymore. And so I think that's what we're all striving to do. And the more you know, the more you know that you don't know. And so always learning, always trying to improve. Some of the Facebook Live and those areas I haven't done as much on. I've done some on YouTube, but I've done a lot of live video. But it's something that I'm going to have to start getting into with where I'm at in the stage of my business.
Right. So you just said something, James, where you're going to have those bad moments, especially when you start. So I want to touch on mindset, because I know that your mind, it controls everything, and we have to learn how to control our thoughts after we have a bad day. So what did you guys do when you first started and you had a gig and it was terrible? How did you get back in your groove, and what did you do to get your mind back right?
Okay.
Well,
Okay. Whenever I have a bad day or a bad live or whatever, or a troll comes in or what have you, I had to learn how to deal with that after the fact. I had to learn that it wasn't my audience problem. It was my problem. So I can deal with that in the back end. I am supposed to deliver quality information to them. I'm supposed to give them information and knowledge for their time and data. And they did not sign on to watch me go off on a troll. So I need to sit up there, block and move, and then continue on with what I'm doing and then handle it on the back end.
Okay.
Well, I think one of the most important things too to realize is that when you start out, you may be bad, but you may be average, whatever. But just because you get experience doesn't mean that you won't be bad from time to time. I had a little speech that I did not too long ago. I've spoken in front of generals. I've spoken in front of business leaders, big groups, small groups, and I was delivering a short presentation to to some of my alumni at my high school. It was a very small get together, and I basically knew everything that I was going to say, and I choked so badly it was just ridiculous. I went into fight flight. My mouth was so dry. I was just all over the place, and you got to know that some days you're not going to hit on all eight, and you just move on and you take it from there. I was watching a business conference the other day, and the guy that plays the lead on the Phantom of the Opera sang a song, and he absolutely blew it apart. It was horrible. And he admitted after he got done, he said, well, that was a rough one. And he said, you have those times, you have those days. And I think everybody has to, if you expect perfection, you'll always be hurting, because there's always going to be something going on.
And I think, when you talk about mindset, for me, I shifted from having bad talks when I started thinking less about me and more about the people.
Mm-hmm.
So a bad talk is designated a bad talk because you said it was bad, because you said that it wasn't good. But most of my bad talks that I said that wasn't good, most of my bad sermons that I said weren't good, were the ones that people liked the most. And it's always been interesting to me that if I walk away from, especially a sermon per se, and I just think I bombed it, those are the sermons where people always come back and say, wow, that was exactly what I needed. And so it all depends on how you look at what's bad. Because my worst, according to me, was somebody's greatest, talk, somebody's greatest lesson, somebody's greatest sermon, that they needed it just for that moment. And so when I stopped thinking about me and just delivering what it was that I felt like I was supposed to deliver, I stopped having bad talks and just started having learning moments.
I think exactly right. Once you start going inside your head and all of this, the more internal you get, granular, the worse you're going to perform. But as you just allow yourself to give the message that you're supposed to give, it's going to flow. And you're right. What may seem to be the worst thing that I've ever done, somebody else thought it was awesome. And one thing too, for your audience to remember, those who are considering speaking, is that if you get up and do a bad speech, you are still above about 99% of the population who envies the fact that you were willing to even stand up and give one.
Right. That's true. That's good stuff. So I want to ask one more question, guys. Talk about how public speaking has changed just your business as a whole. Because I think there's a lot of people that are stuck. They want to take that leap, but they're not thinking about how it can really take their business to the next level. So tell us what it's done for you and your business.
Not everybody at once.
All right.
Ask that question one more time, Ashley.
So what has public speaking done for your business? How has it changed your business? Think about before you really, really focused on that public speaking, and think about right now, what is different? How has it set you apart?
I think for me, when I got laid off my job, it was the one thing that I knew I could rely on to create opportunity. So when I first got laid off, I took maybe about a month or two and just really didn't do anything, but just kind of thought about, okay, what can I do to keep me from going back to this traditional 9-to-5 experience? And I knew I had a fraternity brother who had a charter school. And I knew that charter schools needed somebody to represent them in the community, to find new students, to do presentations, to do so and so and so forth. And so I presented him with a proposal. Hey, I can go to the community events. I could speak on behalf of the charter school to recruit new parents. And this is what I'll be willing to do it for. And because I had the ability to communicate effectively, one, with the proposal, two, to display the ability that I had to engage and to talk to potential parents, they were able to have me on retainer, on a monthly retainer, for me to represent them as a speaker to represent the school. Right? And so I didn't go back to a traditional 9-to-5 since 2014 because I decided that I was going to rely on my speaking skills to create opportunity for me. Then fast forward a little bit longer, because of my learning how to build a reputable business via using social media, via using online platforms, via doing Periscopes, via doing Facebook Lives, anything that would allow me the opportunity to speak, even starting my own podcast. Those opportunities have turned into clients, have turned into speaking engagements, have turned into a full-fledged business, all because of the foundation of speaking. Even being on staff at my church, all because of my ability to speak, to teach, to take big topics and break it down into small bite-sized, implementable action steps for people to be able to use. And so everything that I do today has to do with my one skill of speaking.
Nice. And you hit something. You don't have to go to a 9-to-5. So I'll tell everybody, I've just been an entrepreneur for a little over a year, and I have no desire to ever punch into a time clock ever again. I think that public speaking is a way that I can, be different and take my business to the next level and not have to go back to a 9-to-5. You guys want to share anything else?
Oh, well, I guess I can share what's changed with me. I started as corporate education. And so I was already speaking. I was speaking on the university and the organizational level. I wasn't speaking as far as conferences and things of that nature yet. So I was comfortable with presentations and things of that nature when I came into the entrepreneurial realm. But what is different is that organizations and businesses, universities, they tend to get you because of your merit, whereas the conferences tend to get you by your influence. And so that meant that you need to have a brand in your speaking as well. And you have to be credible in this brand. And so it made me boost up my brand more than I'm just an educator. No, I'm a speaker, I'm a coach, I'm a da-da-da-da-da. And it also helped me to get my name out more. And I went from one or two speaking engagements in 2016 to 17 in 2017. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So building your brand, building your presence, and being able to impact the lives and let them feel what you're speaking is very, very important, because if they don't feel it, then it's not going to move them. And if they're not moved, then they're not going to do anything. That's the difference. So once I figured those things out, then my speaking went to the next level.
Okay.
I think for me, having a background in sales, when I first started out, I thought everything was about product. And if you could go tell someone all the bells and whistles, features and facts and functions of your product, that, it was just going to be a logical thing to go ahead and buy that. And I was very sadly realized that that's not the case, that you can have the greatest product in the world. So that was one of the things that I learned early on, was that you have to be able to present not just features, facts, and all of that, but you have to be able to present yourself and to be able to sell yourself. You got a story to tell, and you got to tell it effectively. And, as I moved on through management and things like that, one of the keys, and it used to make some of the companies and functions of a product, I wanted to teach my sales reps how to present and how to talk to one person, talk to a dozen people, talk to 100 people. And so, when I'm speaking to one-on-one to someone in a presentation, I'm basically speaking to them the same way that I would speak to them if they were in a group of 1,000. My gesticulation and things like that are going to obviously be different based on the size of the room. But, people tend to think that public speaking means only standing on a stage in front of, dozens or tens of hundreds of thousands of people. Public speaking is not about that. Public speaking is just presenting yourself effectively to others, regardless of the size of the group. And I would prefer to speak to 1,000, because at least I may find the one that needs the message that I had, like Markeith mentioned earlier. But, I'm just as happy to speak to one as well.
Good stuff, James. So thank you guys for joining us this evening. I hope that you can join us on Monday as well. So guys, I know it can be a little frightening just to take that first step to work on your public speaking, but we're in a safe space. We're all going to be here for the same reason, and that's to get better, myself included. So if you have any questions for the judges, please reach out to them. We'll have their information listed as well. And again, I hope that I see you Monday. And I didn't mention this. You can join as a contestant or an audience member. So if you do not want to present, you can just sit there, look at the other contestants, and also gain some knowledge from the judges. Okay? So again, thank you guys, and we'll see you later. Bye.
See you.
All right, so we are back. So we got so excited that we forgot to share what each judge is looking for. So can you each share what you're looking for from each contestant?
Ladies first. Ooh. So I am the engagement judge, and I'm looking for if you can move me, if you make me want to shake, if you make me want to jump and run and do something, just make it shake. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for you to make me want to march on Rome. And, I'm going to be like, not Rome yet. Or I'm going to be like, I'm there. So if you see these hands, that's what's up.
James.
Well, my profession is basically a body language deception and analyst. So I'll be looking for body language, body movement, how you handle your hands, because a lot of people, the first thing they realize when they speak publicly is that they actually have hands at the ends of their arms and they don't have any idea what to do with them. So I'll be looking for the way that a person moves, and, not so much from a judgmental standpoint. As we judge, we have to call it something, but to be able to give constructive criticism on what you can do to change your body language up a little bit. And of course, we'll be covering a little bit of that when we do our presentations to begin with. But body language is pretty much what I'm going to be looking for, and continuity between what you say verbally and what you say non-verbally, so that you may become believable to your audience.
And I'm going to be looking for or hearing diction, hearing whether or not what you're saying actually partners or goes well together. Because one of the things that we got to learn how to do is storytell, and have a story that is relatable, have a story that connects, have a story that people can fully understand. And I'm not necessarily looking for broken English, but what I'm looking for is continuity of what you're speaking about and the ability to understand how your story connects to the ultimate message of what you want people to walk away with.
Perfect. So you guys heard it. Join us Monday. We'll see you next time.
See you Monday.
See you Monday.